and welcome to another episode of the Dork List. My name is Jordan Fay.
My name is Darian Christian.
And you all love us equally, because that's what you're supposed to do.
Is that what this is going to be like? You're going to get me back for last time?
Every time we do an episode, it's just you can tell it's going to be this back and forth banter. You know it's going to be like that.
No. God, Jordan, you just got to admit that these people love me.
I admit that they love you, but I'm not saying that they necessarily love one person over the other person, because
you don't know these people. You don't know where these people live. You
don't know these people either.
We don't know these people's story.
You don't know where they live. Okay, maybe to be fair, you probably know where some people live.
Because some people love us and they listen to us out of obligation, because we'll kill them if they don't. Shh.
Wow. You just made it dark. You made this.
I'm dark chocolate. Everything is always dark.
That was said from your lips, not mine. Anyway, okay, so in this episode, we've got quite a few things that we're gonna be talking about.
Lots of things.
Tail end of the video. This is gonna be the theme pretty much. You know, it was last week. It's gonna be this week, and we're gonna cover it again when we have our next episode. But we're gonna spend a big chunk of time talking about video games.
Video games, people!
Because this week is E3. Like, the event has already kicked off. Today, like, we watched the tail end of the Nintendo World Championship. Oh my gosh, you should have...
Congratulations, John Numbers. Cosmo, I feel for you, bro.
It was... You need to watch it on YouTube, which that's actually the really cool thing, is that this year on YouTube, you can watch E3 live through YouTube. You know, it used to be through G4, back when that was a channel.
So that used to be a thing.
Back when that was a thing. Spike had, like, first day coverage from the people that did G4, but it was only the first day and not even all of the first day. So it's really nice that YouTube, you know, you can watch it there. I mean, YouTube is a universally recognized thing. But yeah, we'll talk about the Nintendo World Championship later on in the video. We'll be talking about E3. We'll be talking about the Nintendo Smash Brothers Direct that happened earlier today. That sent the internet into a tizzy.
No kidding. My man is back. My man is back.
Roy's our boy. Roy's our boy.
My man!
His man. But I would like to, start off by taking a moment to recognize two people that passed away this week. One man very important to the world of wrestling, and one person who, in all honesty, was a gift to the world.
Yeah.
He was. I mean, let's not diminish his accomplishments.
I'm not trying to diminish his accomplishments, but let's face it, both these men were a gift to the world.
Yes.
Both of these men, regardless of what they did.
I completely agree. And so we'll start off though. The first person, that was just sad to see go was Christopher Lee.
Count Dooku.
He was Saruman in Lord of the Rings.
He was this guy in this one Disney Channel movie that I cannot remember I cannot remember the name of it, but he was in a number of other things. We'll forget about that.
He was Willy Wonka's father in the reboot with Johnny Depp.
Oh my goodness.
And for those that know Kingdom Hearts, he was Ansem the Wise.
Oh no.
So we have lost, in this year, we have not only lost the man that played Xehanort, we have also lost the man who played Ansem the Wise.
I'm gonna cry a little inside.
A little bit. But I mean, he had so many other accomplishments as well. He was a knight. He was... Knighted. Metal composer. Like, he composed a lot of metal music.
He's Saruman. What did you expect?
Well, and the thing is, he lived a very long time. He died in 93. 93 years old. He lived a full, amazing life.
Amazing life. Just thank you, Christopher Lee.
It's sad to see you go, but you left us many great things to remember you by.
Thank you so much. And then the other person who's very, very near and dear to my heart is the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. He is a former 3-time world champion and a gift to the world of professional wrestling. So many people he affected. So many people he revitalized and affected and energized. And to me, I know that people like look at old school wrestling as the golden era, and I know some people today, and I'm sorry, that's my phone. This is very inappropriate. I'm gonna throw it out of the room. But no, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, is just very near and dear to my heart because he's one of the very old school wrestlers whose promos can inspire me. You may know him from the Hard Times promo. I know him from the Wine and Dine with Kings and Queens promo, and everything he did in NWA wrestling and WCW, and everything he did further. He honestly did some of the best work in professional wrestling, where he was working with all the young talent, making sure that everything they did was solid, in and outside of the ring. He's a gift. We miss him. I missed you, Dusty. I'm going to miss you forever. And I apologize that my phone is going off in the background when I'm nearly in tears right now. Thank you, Dusty. You were the American Dream. Thank you. And let us assume this moment of silence.
All right, then. Thankfully, your phone went off for the moment of silence.
It recognized that it needed to be done. Even my phone recognizes that we
even his phone. You want to go make sure your sound is off, and I'll kick things off with everybody else?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay. So, there's been a myriad of different topics of all natures that have been popping up online lately, from all different walks of life. For those that love Kamen Rider, Super Sentai, Power Rangers, all that stuff, we have the official name for the newest Kamen Rider that'll be coming out, Kamen Rider Ghost. A lot of speculation already behind exactly what Ghost is going to be, what Ghost is about. Ghost is actually going to appear in the newest summer movie for Kamen Rider Drive, which that hasn't been done for a few years. Like, it hasn't been a thing where like the newest writer makes an appearance in a summer movie. So that'll give us our first look. And I think it's very important to mention that, you know, just because a writer appears in a summer movie doesn't mean that
he's gonna be in it.
No, I mean, that's not the finished product necessarily.
Yeah.
Like a good example was when Kamen Rider O's popped up in W's movie. The Gaia Memory movie, where like the metal animation for his transformation was different than the final product. So it'll be interesting to see like how things start out and go from there. Thoughts on the name?
I like the name. It sounds intriguing. I don't recall them posting any like suits for it yet.
No. We're not gonna see anything, I'd say, until next month. I'd like to say.
Oh no, I'm intrigued with the name. I really
I think they're trying to play off of a little bit of Ninja with their whole yokai thing, so they can do, if they're doing ghosts or supernatural whatever, it ties in with Ninja.
I already think that even with ghosts, just a Kamen Rider going around possibly dealing with ghosts, especially with how Japan likes to deal with ghosts, it just sounds ridiculously funny, entertaining, and also very, very dark. And it can be entertaining.
Oh, and that's the thing, is that, you know, we don't even know what the mood is going to be for what's going to happen.
I mean, think about how Gaim was in the beginning.
Well, in the beginning, though, we still knew that the Uro Butcher, Gen Urobuchi, was helping with writing.
Yeah.
So everybody knew it was going to get dark. Everybody knew. And, like, of course, you know, in Earl Butcher fashion, starts out everything's nice, everything's cool, and then death,
Screw this,
murder,
death, murder,
darkness.
Darkness.
Um,
Let's give you feels and never let you come
Right.
out of bed again.
So, I mean, the last time that we had a writer of, like, supernatural kind of origin was Kiva. And that was... It was somewhat darker, considering the death and that kind of went around, and just the overall mood. It had a happy ending, don't get me wrong. But, like, it had that weird, dark vibe where people were kind of unsure of it.
I haven't personally seen Kiva outside of course, Decade.
Right.
But even then, it was just creepy, weird, and... It was just really weird and awkward, and yeah, it was dark, but out of that, like I said, we're both pretty hyped for this.
Oh, yeah.
I believe you had something to say about Dino Charge.
Yes.
Just be aware, people. I've only seen the first 2 episodes of Dino Charge.
Yeah.
I liked them though.
So that with Dino Charge, there was one of those like advertising conferences where I don't remember the exact term for the conference, but it was like a branding conference where like different companies, you know, promote shows and stuff like that. So there was like a teaser trailer for what was in store, talking about how there's going to be the most active Rangers in Power Rangers history, which is true. They'll top out at 10. We found out that
We're not counting SPD people.
Right. Well, technically, with SPD, because they didn't adapt the movie, it doesn't reach that same level.
Well, even so, just think about that. With SPD, they had 2 teams of 5 people, but then one again,
Right, but
that doesn't count.
It's one of those things that doesn't count.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah.
But well, and not to mention they reused the Power Rangers in space helmets for that.
They rebuilt
that
the helmets.
quote
they
unquote
kept
second team.
They kept the visors the same.
Right.
Relatively the same.
But yeah.
Moving on from that.
They're bringing back the Kyoryu Red Carnival, but there's a question on what they're going to give for the name and how they're going to adapt it. That being said, they're also kind of taking a page out of the book for Samurai, where they had that super samurai mode that was in the Megazord, where they've adapted the armor that they already had with the spikes in that, and they changed it up a bit, so that there's like spikes all over their suit. They don't have like the little mouth thing over their visor, so it's just black, and they have a giant battery kind of going diagonally over their chest. I don't know how I feel about it right now. I don't know how it's going to be used. I don't know if it's going to be a Megazord only thing. I really have to see it in action, I guess, before I can have an opinion.
Also, there's that rare impossibility they might not even do it.
I doubt it.
I doubt it.
Just because I feel like it's a Saban thing.
It's a Saban.
But I'm very excited because they even like released the character details for Gold and Graphite. Graphite is actually going to be a prince that wants to be a ranger. And I find that it's interesting because the original character slide that they were going to do for Graphite was that Graphite was going to be like a cowboy kind of guy who was actually the older brother of the Green Ranger.
Well, I could see them not wanting to like replicate themselves because that's what Ninja is doing right now.
Yes and no. I mean,
even if it's even Americanized.
Well, the thing with Graphite and Aqua, I'm gonna say Aqua. I can't remember the name. Although they're gray and cyan in Japan. In Japan, they're dead. They're spirit rangers, and like that's not how they're coming about.
Just think about it though. It's a dark thing that they wouldn't do that type of dark thing over here in America because kids can't handle that.
Yeah, yes and no, but it is what I do agree with that.
But God forbid Kenrich dies and everybody overlooks that.
Well, that was a darker time though, late '90s, early 2000s. So I mean, that was that was a different Saban at the time.
Not to mention Valerie Vernon had no choice, and she had cancer.
Yeah.
They had to kill the cutest one on the cast.
Yeah, but moving right along, because we've already taken quite a bit of time with that.
There's Dragon Ball Super.
Dragon Ball Super, they just had the latest teaser out, 15 seconds, showing off the characters' like new outfits.
Yeah. Videl looks weird. I thought she was Pan for like a minute.
Yeah, he thought that Videl was Pan, and I was like, no.
She looks more girly, and that's what made it weird.
She's kind of been making that transition, if you notice, but like, it'll be interesting to see if we do see Pan at all. Yeah. Because I mean, obviously we know at the end of Battle of the Gods, Videl's like, hey, guess what? I'm preggo, and it's just like, oh, yay. Super
Pan.
Saiyan God time.
I don't care. I just want Pan.
I agree.
I just want Pan.
But Goku has this like scarf kind of thing.
He's like this thing he wore from that one planet, I think, Yardrat.
You know what? It is kind of similar. Just like with a jacket though, instead of like that whatever he was wearing. But
Goku knows how to make friends and still make clothes.
It's very interesting that they weren't wearing battle outfits, really, except for like Goten and Trunks, kind of to a degree. But
I would say that it's a product of peacetime, but at the same point, they can't have been in peacetime for this long.
Right. Well, and not to mention too, this was only a 15-second trailer.
Yeah.
Teaser trailer.
We'll get.
And we got like a picture of Vegeta's face as he was like going Super Saiyan.
They shafted Vegeta in this teaser.
But maybe for good reason, because they want to like hype it up a bit. But I'm excited because you know what? It's only a month away now.
Yeah.
Because the spring anime season is ending. Most things are on like episode 10, 11, right now, and so like next week and the week after that are gonna be the last weeks for the 12 episode animes.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna be sad to see a few of mine go. But
it's okay, Jordan.
It'll be okay. I will live.
3 more things, and we're gonna move on. We're gonna go on to The Simpsons and how much of a controversy that kicked off this week.
Well, The Simpsons in general has been so with Henry Shearer leaving.
Yeah.
We're obviously losing a lot of manpower in the cast, even because I mean the thing is with The Simpsons for years, it's been a very close cast that has voiced everybody that wasn't a cameo.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. But the big topic of controversy is that the way that the latest season is going to kick off is with the legal separation of Homer and Marge.
And it really pissed off a lot of people this week. It ticked me off because, point period, if this was going to be a thing that extended and was semi-permanent, I was literally going to stop watching. Because if anything that has been pounded into the fans' heads has been the relationship between Homer and Marge. Every time you have a moment to doubt it, they give you something more to make it mean something. And honestly, it's probably one of the longest relationships you've seen on television in years. And to have that come to an end over something...
Narcolepsy. Homer has narcolepsy, and it's put so much of a strain on their relationship that Marge ends it, supposedly. To make a kind of connection, like a comparison, if you will, it's almost in a way similar to when Family Guy killed off Brian.
Except this time they're telling us.
Except they're telling us this time around. We got a bit of a notion that they were going to kill off a main cast member. That we were told that in Family Guy, but this is big because we've known The Simpsons forever.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm hoping it's just a 1-episode thing.
We're hoping it's a 1-episode thing. If it's not, Darian's done.
That being said, though, there was another rumored plot
where Sideshow Bob
kills Bart.
Turns out it's a Treehouse of Horror episode.
It is.
It is a Treehouse of Horror episode.
I'm kind of glad by that. It's about time.
It's about time Sideshow Bob killed it, but I know that's one big thing, but it also brings in the case. Will that be the last time we see Sideshow Bob in that kind of capacity? Because he finally kills Bart. What does he do after that?
Mm-hmm. He's happy, probably.
And
then probably starts going delusional that Bart's not really dead and ends up killing himself, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Calling it now, people.
Yeah. And then we talked about Tomorrowland in our list of movies in the beginning. I went to see it. Jordan, did you go see it or not?
I did not go see it.
I went and saw it, and before we talk about what's happening for people who haven't seen it or haven't been glued to the interwebs like we have, I loved it. It was inspirational. It got me off my butt to do things I hadn't done in forever. It was very good. The only things that I would say, and spoiler alert, because I have never really said spoiler alert before I've done anything.
Yeah, you've always said it after.
Yep. I'm going to say spoiler alert now. The downside of this film that really kind of killed it for me is they kept talking about and showing us all these futuristic crud. Barely any of the movie had anything to do with futuristic stuff. It was a very realistic, quasi-realistic plot that didn't have anything to do with, like, futuristic technology outside of the time that they were there. It really didn't delve into the world of Tomorrowland like really delve in, like there was a problem there that needed to be solved. There was that, but all in all, it just didn't delve full heads on deep. That and the cast was really, really small. It was really, really, really small. Well, you had a lot of people, but you didn't have a lot of people doing a lot of main stuff, as you would think there would be. But overall, I liked it. Turns out it was a flop, and a lot of things happened because of it. Tron 3 got canceled. We're not getting a Tron 3 now. Thanks a lot, Tomorrowland.
And whether or not that's, a direct cause,
Reportedly it is.
It's possible. But the thing, a lot of these big budget movies that have flopped have come out of Disney. The other big one being John Carter of Mars was a huge flop by Disney. And Tomorrowland as well is not been doing well in the box office as well. And I think part of the blame is that the marketing for it was bad. You didn't know what the plot of the movie was until like a month before.
And
if even,
and you didn't correctly know what the plot was until you got there. And that's a recurring problem in a lot of movies where they don't tell you the plot. You go and see the movie, and within that first night, you know whether or not the movie stinks or not. And then most people won't go see it because of reviews. And it's not the movie's fault, because the movie itself could be relatively good. But maybe not explosion like good, but like it just happens.
The thing is, social media and word of mouth have a big impact today on movies.
Yeah,
plain and simple.
Yeah. Also, Tomorrowland came out with the book that is a prequel to the film, and I didn't see that or know about that until I went to Barnes & Noble last week, and I picked up the book. It was relatively interesting. It takes place in 1907, around, I believe, the first World's Fair that we had, and it delves into what it was going to be. And I'm like, well, this would have been a great precedent. I didn't get to finish the book. I have not finished it. I have not touched it ever since. But all in all, it was a flop. I thought it was good because I enjoyed it. I went with a few friends. My friends thought it was good. It just didn't do so well in the box office. And sometimes that happens with movies.
But sometimes you have a major success. And that's why the other thing we're talking about is Jurassic World and how that made a big splash this weekend. Holy cow. So I went and saw it. Darian did not. I'm not going to spoil anything about the movie.
We'll talk about it
because you just need to go see it.
We can go talk about it probably on the next podcast after I've seen it.
Maybe. But we'll probably give you like a box office recap of what's happened, but it's broken a record already. Jurassic World has officially it has the number one all-time worldwide opening weekend, period.
It is now beat the Avengers.
In worldwide. Domestically, for opening weekend, the original Avengers still beats it by a few $1 million. That being said, final tallies obviously for Sunday are not yet in.
Yeah.
So by all means, if there is a sudden surge in tickets and that, Jurassic World could end up being the number one movie opening weekend domestically, which is absolutely incredible. Like, I didn't expect it.
I mean,
like,
when you think about the hype, it was kind of, we wanted to see this movie. The people wanted to see this movie. We didn't think that it was gonna be this explosive and this impactful. It was just another summer movie that we were on. Well, not like insulted by it being just another summer movie, but it was another summer movie that was on the things that you could go and see.
Yeah.
That you were excited to see.
And $200 million. $200 million domestically, over $500 million worldwide in a weekend. Like, it has legs. It has legs to come. There isn't going to be another big action movie at least for another 2 or 3 weeks, because next week is Inside Out from Pixar, getting absolutely phenomenal reviews right now, and because it's a kids movie, it's going to make bank.
Yeah. Period.
But Jurassic World, absolutely incredible. 22 years after the original movie, and it so far, like, this opening weekend has made more money than the entire run of Jurassic Park 3. Which, I mean, that's really not that hard, considering Jurassic Park 3 was the least liked of the Jurassic Park movies, I believe. But what's great, though, is that, and I'm not spoiling anything, they've set it up where they can have future movies, which is great.
I believe it was on the same first island that it was.
It was.
Okay.
And you get to see the original park, at least parts of it.
Did they mention Isla Sorna or not?
There are specific ties to the first movie that you will see.
Okay.
And they talk about it, and like it's a thing. They all know about Jurassic Park. And it's on that same island. So it's really interesting. I highly recommend going to see it. That being said, we've already talked about a lot of this stuff.
We were going to talk about Star Wars Rogue One. That teaser leaked out on the internet. I'm just going to say a quick thing about it. It'll be like 30 seconds. Rogue One is going to take place in between Episode 3 and Episode 4. It's going to be held during before the dark times, before the Emperor times of Star Wars. It's supposed to be a resistance movie, and it's supposedly like an old school war film. And it's going to be supposedly held on Yavin 4. Go take a look at it. We might speculate it on a future podcast, but we got to move on. And
it's wrestling time.
Okay, it's wrestling time. It's wrestling time. A big couple things. A lot of little things turned into a big thing. We already talked about the death of the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. So we miss you, Dusty. But we're going to talk about non-WWE stuff for once. We're going to talk about non-Ring of Honor stuff for once. We're going to talk about non-TNA stuff for once. We're going to do some indie stuff that Jordan doesn't even know about.
Nope, not at all.
Okay.
Clueless.
He's clueless. But anyway, the 22nd New Japan Pro Wrestling Best of the Super Juniors ended last week with Kushida beating Kyle O'Reilly, who is probably one of the best professional wrestlers on the planet today, in the finals, and he gets to take on Kenny Omega, the greatest professional wrestler, not the greatest professional wrestler alive, but the greatest nerdy professional wrestler alive that Jordan should know about purely because I'm telling him about. Kenny Omega literally names half of his moves after not only video games but anime. Yay. One of his finishers is named the One-Winged Angel, which for some of you know is a Final Fantasy reference. He uses a Hadoken. He uses like a Mega Man move, which I think is the Flash Stopper.
or I'm not really sure whatever else. But you should know about Kenny Omega. Go look up Kenny Omega. He fights blow-up dolls on the internet in DDT in Japan. Don't ask questions.
What?
Just go and watch it.
What?
But
He fights blow-up doll? What is this, Street Fighter?
pretty much, he loves Street Fighter and he loves anime. He's a nerd.
I guess so.
He's a
that's
Canadian
great.
nerd. He's awesome. He's going to be facing Kushida, one half of the Time Splitters, who comes out to freaking epic music, which also, the opening to his theme music is the Back to the Future theme.
Oh my gosh.
The opening part of his theme
Oh my
music before it
gosh.
gets into this like light pop
Wow.
guitar theme.
Okay.
Check him out. Check out the match when it comes up on Dailymotion, because Dailymotion's great with New Japan matches.
Okay.
Moving on from that, the New Japan Dominion 7, that's going to take July 5th. I'm going to be out of town, so I'm not going to be able to see it.
Disney World.
He's going to be in Disney World. The card will be, we have a 10-man tag team match, which of course isn't important on the card. It's just a match. The Young Bucks are going to be defending their IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team Championships against Red Dragon of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly, and Roppongi Vice and Beretta and Rocky Romero. It's going to be a high, fast-paced match with some of the best, 3 of the best wrestlers on the planet. Bullet Club's Bad Luck Fale and Nujiro Top. Okay, that match isn't important. I'm looking at the card on the internet, but I will be able to gauge what match is important and which match isn't. Katsuyori Shibata and Kazushi Sakuraba are going to be fighting again. These guys are shoot wrestlers, which means they wrestle actual mixed martial arts in real life. And I think it's going to be a stiff match. Katsuyori Shibata and Kazushi Sakuraba, 2 guys that are probably two of the most underrated wrestlers on the planet that people don't know about. Katsuyori Shibata, after winning the tag titles at Wrestle Kingdom earlier this year with Hiroki Goto, which is one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. We'll get to him in just a moment. We don't know where he's going to go after losing these tag titles back to the Bullet Club. Hopefully he'll find his ground again. I already mentioned Kenny Omega versus Kushida for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship. Toki Makabe versus Tomohiro Ishii, a rematch from Wrestle Kingdom earlier this year. The Unchained Gorilla, master of the King Kong knee drop, is going to take on the Stone Cold Pitbull, and probably was one of the most stiffest matches I've ever seen in my match. Stop giggling, you schoolgirl. Stop giggling because I said stiff.
Wow.
The Kingdom.
Wow, you went there.
Yeah, I went there. The Kingdom from representing Ring of Honor, Matt Taven, and Michael Bennett, the current IWGP Tag Team Champions, with Maria Kanellis, who's the hottest female manager on the planet, versus the Bullet Club, Doc Gallows and Carl Anderson, with Doc Gallows' wife, Amber Gallows, for the IWGP Tag Team Championship, which I'm repeating myself and I gotta stop doing that. Should be a good match. I want those titles off the Kingdom because I hate them. Moving on. Hiroshi Tanahashi versus Toru Yano. Toru Yano came out of nowhere and upset Hiroshi Tanahashi not a couple months ago. Will Tanahashi be able to get back on his feet? Okay, moving on from that. Hiroki Goto versus Shinsuke Nakamura, the King of Strong Style. For this match, Hiroki Goto says he wants to unify the IWGP Intercontinental Championship with the IWG Heavyweight title. We will only see this come to fruition if Hiroki Goto can beat Shinsuke, or as I like to call him, Swagsuke.
Wow. Wow.
I didn't coin that, some wrestling fan in the audience did that. And then AJ Styles versus Kazuchika Okada, the Rainmaker, for the IWGP Heavyweight title. I just want AJ to lose. Because AJ doesn't lose. He needs to lose. And because it's the Rainmaker. Moving on. Some smaller news and bigger news. Tyson Kidd requires spinal surgery. After a bad muscle buster from Samoa Joe. He took it on a dark match, and I believe a Raw taping a couple weeks ago. And he landed on his spine run, and now he currently requires surgery. Well, just from me, TJ, feel better, buddy. We hope to see you back in the wrestling soon. We know this is what you love. And other injuries, I know we don't like talking about the bad stuff. Josh Alexander, the walking weapon. I believe the current reigning AAW All American Wrestling champion has to retire due to a neck injury. I've personally seen Joshua Alexander wrestle up close. He is probably one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. Kudos to you in your future life and whatever you want to do. I just hope that you can find something you love. Moving on from that, there's a WWE tryout, I believe, last week, or it hasn't happened yet. I'm not sure. There was a tryout which included some of the top indie names in wrestling. Those indie names will come up if my computer decides to load them. There we go. Well, there were a lot of good names at this trial camp for people who are storied wrestling fans and indie wrestling marks like I am. Tommaso Ciampa, the Sicilian psychopath, was at this tryout.
What?
That's what
the Sicilian psychopath.
That's what they call him.
Wow.
You'd like him. He came out in a Dr. Doom-esque type thing for one of his matches.
Okay.
I'm gonna save the second guy on this list for last because he's my personal favorite. Sweet Chuck E. T, this Kentucky gentleman, was there. Drew Gulak, for people who know, is a former CZW World Heavyweight Champion. Biff Busick, the manliest man. Mainstay in Evolve Wrestling and CZW was there. The one-man thrill ride, Jimmy Preston. I have no clue who this guy is. The Mighty Don't Kneel, Shane Haste and Mickey Nichols. Two guys who I didn't even know were at this tryout were there. They're mainstays in Pro Wrestling Noah. They're Australian wrestlers who... They're both amazing if you haven't seen them. They've been on Ring of Honor a few times. I think they were on the Summer Heat Tour back in 2011. Another guy, Matt Riddle. Don't know who that guy is. Big Duke Dalton. No clue who this guy is, but apparently he started wrestling in 2010. The Suburban Commandos. From a horrible, horrible movie name. T-Rent and D-Unit had a tryout. And then the last guy, the last male on this roster, who I am praying got a contract, is Johnny Gargano, probably my favorite wrestler today. He is former Open the Freedom Gate champion who held that title for over 2 years and was probably one of the longest reigning champions there. He's the possible current Evolve Tag Team Champion. We don't know if that title is even a thing yet. But if it's not a thing, he's still one half of the Open Freedom Gate Tag Team Champions with Rich Swann. And I hope he got the contract. Female wrestlers. Jessica Havoc. That big beast of a woman you remember from TNA who came out in all this decked out attire and everything. Looks badass. Taylor Hendricks. A former OVW mainstay who's immensely great. She has my endorsement. Athena, the Greek goddess, probably one of my favorite African-American wrestlers today. Giselle Shaw, a Lance Storm Academy graduate who only debuted a couple months ago. Andrea, a girl who used to wrestle as Betsy Ruth in Ring of Honor, somewhere, I think for World Extreme Wrestling. And then two female non-wrestlers, Diana Dahlgren and Nikki Galladay from the Bad Girls Club. And Diana Dahlgren is a former IFBB Pro Bikini competitor. Kudos to everybody who attended this tryout. Like I said, the two people I would love to make it are Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. These two guys are amazing. Johnny Gargano is only 27 years old, so this probably won't be his last tryout. Tommaso Ciampa, also in his prime. And Chuck E. T is only 29 years old. So Chuck Taylor's only 29 years old. Those are my top three. I know I said two, but those are my top three for this. We'll hopefully hear news about them in the near future. Moving on, and I gotta make this quick because I think I'm going over time. The WWE/NXT Japan card, they're gonna do a live event on the WWE Network for only $9.99. Cheap pop for them. Anyway, I gotta bring it up right here.
The fingers and the look that you gave me.
I have to do it because it's only $9.99. Oh my goodness, I lost it. I apologize, but I'm just gonna mention one of the matches on that card, which will be Finn Balor versus Kevin Owens for the NXT Championship, and they are closing the show. People who know Finn Balor, he was a mainstay in New Japan Pro Wrestling for the longest time. Honestly, I hope he wins then, because we got to get that title off of Kevin Owens, because, let's face it, he should be on the main roster already. He's been there. He's been beating John... By the way, he beat John Cena for people who didn't know. Big shocker. Big upset. Moving on. I hope that Finn beats him. And then there were news of a possible WWN Live and WWE partnership, which might become the minor leagues before NXT for the WWE. What does that mean for wrestling? What it would mean, for people who don't know what WWN Live is, it's the World Wrestling Network Live. It's probably one of the best ways to get independent wrestling out there, because all their stuff is internal. They have multiple companies. They sell it for a pretty good price. You can get like a whole bunch of things. You can get streaming rights, on-demand rights, and a DVD for only $25. And you get that on-demand stuff until the DVD is released, and then it comes to you in the mail. It would be a great thing for the WWE to possibly buy that. Possibly a bad thing, because they'd also have rights on who would go there and what they were able to do. That was a big thing that was hinted at. No news if it's true. I am not confirming it. I don't know crud because I'm a lowly nerd.
This is true.
Thanks a lot.
You are welcome.
The WWE Toughen Up is down to 13 people. That started over the last weekend. And Toughen Up is going to start, I believe, this week or next week. And it went down, and I already want to tell people there is no independent wrestlers on this thing. It's all fitness models, fitness actors, a lot of people who work out. I have zero interest in this now, but I'm still going to watch it for watching its sake. And I believe that's all I have.
All right.
Now we get to video games.
Yeah. And I think we're going to extend this episode past the hour just so we can talk about everything.
Yeah, okay.
Because we got a lot. Okay. So,
what do you want to start with?
I want to talk about Nintendo in general.
Okay.
Because leading up to E3, Nintendo has been doing everything. Like, literally not too long after we had, our episode 2 weeks ago, Nintendo had a mini Nintendo Direct. And they kind of played it off in a cute manner as like, hey, guess what? This Nintendo of America guy is really tiny and on a desk and talking about tiny stuff. And, they talked about Splatoon and, like, the DLC that's happening for that. They're bringing back Chibi Robo game. They talked about an anime game. It was like the little battling robots. It's on, like, Nicktoons.
I was about to say, that covers a lot of things. You'd have to be more specific.
There's a Nicktoons cartoon. For the people that know in Japan, Danball Senki, which used to air alongside Inazuma 11.
My favorite anime today.
I love that show. It was really interesting because they had a mini Nintendo Direct before the Nintendo Direct. And then Nintendo kicked things off today with the start to E3. Not only did they have the Nintendo World Championship, but they also had a specific Direct for Super Smash Bros. And holy crap, did the internet explode over everything.
My man!
Roy is our boy. So right now, there are 4 DLC characters available for Smash Brothers. There was Mewtwo, which was already released.
My other man.
There was Lucas, who we knew was coming out.
The adorable one that nobody acknowledges.
He was my main in Brawl, thank you very much.
Hey, nobody notices besides you and me.
And the other people that know I main him.
Oh, the other people. Well, that's the very exclusive group of people.
It is.
But
it is.
Lucas touched me when, you remember, like, the Subspace Emissary, where Ness pretty much comes in to save Lucas and Ness gets frozen. I fell in love with Lucas after that.
Yep.
And then I would play with Lucas through Mother 3. I'm glad he's back. Enough said.
But then, there were the rumors flying about that, oh, hey, the next person that they're going to announce is Wolf. The next person that they're going to announce is Wolf. No. What we got today, although it was leaked yesterday, and it was even, leaked a month or two before, too. People were saying...
But nobody thought it was real.
No, nobody did. We got Roy, which everyone that was a fan of, like, Melee, just, oh my gosh, they loved it. But we got Ryu from Street Fighter. Nobody saw that coming. No.
We watched the guy during the Nintendo World Championships.
We watched Reggie from Nintendo America just absolutely flop with Ryu, but that really should not take away the development. I can't even talk. The development behind Ryu is staggering in that they incorporated so much of his history and the gameplay of like the arcade style into his moveset. Yes, you have, the regular moves just like any other character in Smash Brothers. But the way that you play is also based on, if you know Street Fighter, the movesets.
His actual moveset from Street Fighter. And I used to frequent video game fighting tournaments back when I was a kid, back when I was unsociable and nobody knew me. Ryu was probably for people who know Ryu. I don't know about Street Fighter 4, I don't know about Street Fighter 5 people, but people who know Ryu knows he has one of the most easily accessible movesets ever.
And he's one of the most iconic fighting game characters, period.
He's probably the most iconic.
It's
in fighting games, period.
Besides Scorpion, I would say.
Besides Scorpion, yeah.
Scorpion and Ryu, I would honestly say, are probably the two biggest for fighting games.
Yeah. But if anything, Ryu is going to have his actual button inputs into this game.
And if you use those, you actually get more powerful attacks.
I fear for the people who play Street Fighter and play Super Smash Brothers, because they're going to start destroying people with Ryu. It's not even going to be funny, because Ryu, for fighting... Smash is one thing when it comes to fighting games. Then there's fighting games in general. Being able to do all those things in fighting games is insane. And if you can combine those, learn how to combine both those styles of gameplay, you're going to become an indestructible force.
Well, I'd like to think that Nintendo is really making strides toward more competitive play. And that's very,
well, they've done
it's very visible with Smash Brothers.
It's not just Smash Brothers, it's a lot of their games.
Right, but with Smash Brothers in particular, they've had updates where they've balanced out the characters.
Yeah.
Because obviously, for people that have played competitively, you can see that there are certain characters that had advantages when the game first came out, and so they kind of did a balancing kind of thing. But what's interesting about Ryu, several reasons. One, it gives competitive players another challenge. In that he is a character that if you have great skill, then you can optimize Ryu's abilities.
Yeah.
The second thing, though, that I think is very important is that this opens up so many possibilities.
And I think we're not even done with the character ballot yet.
No, we're not. And that's not going to be over until like October. So if you have a third-party game character that you are voting for, you have all the more reason to keep voting for that character.
Vote Isaac!
Vote Isaac. Because this plain and simple, like we know now that they are supporting multiple games. Which is another thing too, the Mii Fighter costumes.
This is where I'm going to geek out in general, because Mega Man stuff got entered in. You have the Zero costume. For people who know Zero, he's from Mega Man X, and he is one of the most bamf characters that you don't know about.
So for the swordsmans out there, you can have Zero as your character suit.
And then, I'm going to save the best for laugh, you had a Tekken skin.
Yes. And not only Tekken, though. There's one skin for Tekken, and there are two for Virtua Fighter.
A game which nobody plays unless you're a frequent player of Sega.
And that right there is 3 fighting games that Nintendo is already... They're incorporating into Smash Brothers. 3 very well
Are
known.
they foreboding?
You mean foreshadowing?
Foreshadowing.
Foreboding is bad.
Well, for all we know, it could be bad because they could just bring in.
It could be it could be bad for the people that are like, oh, I want to play this actual character instead of getting a skin for my me.
Well, I was thinking of this, but at the same point, I'm going to be happy for this. The final skin is for somebody near and dear
You
to my heart.
skipped a few though.
No, I didn't.
Yes, there's Isabelle from Animal Crossing.
Okay.
And there's both the female and male Inkling from Splatoon for Gunners.
We're going to talk about Splatoon later, because I want to touch upon that.
Okay.
But the last one, I believe this is the last one?
Mm-hmm.
The Mega Man EXE skin.
For the Gunner.
From Battle Network, one of the greatest GBA games of all time.
And the most recognized Mega Man anime, I'd like to say.
Because it's the only one that had prominence.
Yep.
And it's the only Mega Man anime that went on for the longest time.
It's true.
And it's personally one of my favorite animes, even though we only got up until Mega Man Access over here in America. They went all the way up to the last game over in Japan. They went through all 6 games. All of them didn't completely adapt storylines. They made their own. But all in all, I'm back crud happy because Mega Man EXE is a skin. And then
So that's just great. And they're all at like really accessible prices too, which, I mean, that's debatable for certain people, because they're like, oh well, like I want my maps and that, and I get all this for like $15, and it's like, there's a lot that goes into character creation.
Yeah.
And you can, it's cheaper if you get it for both systems. Is why I'm waiting for a Wii U so I can get it for both Wii U and 3DS right away.
I'm currently watching this guy on Amazon that has a $144 Wii U, and I'm praying to God it doesn't go anywhere until I have money to buy it.
Another thing though to mention is that every character in Smash Brothers will have an amiibo made.
Please do not turn off the podcast because your hatred of trying to get an amiibo is too strong.
They only touched upon the fact that you can get all these amiibos in the Smash Direct. What I'm hoping is that during the actual like E3 Nintendo Direct, they will address the issue of amiibos and scalping and stuff like that, because people want their amiibos. Plain and
This has
simple.
got to stop.
Like, you shouldn't have to shell out $80 to $100
To get
for
a figurine that you're only going to use a number of times.
And only for one game, because the memory, you can only use it for one game.
Yeah.
Which is, it's really unfortunate for people that, you know, if you want to use it for like Mario Kart or Mario, I don't know why you would want to use it for Mario Party. Don't use it for Mario Party, please. Don't. Just.
Are you hating on Mario Party right now?
I don't like how the series has progressed.
I will agree. I love the first 3 Mario Parties, and that's it.
Well,
everything after that is crap.
I liked it up till 8, because at least up until 8, including 8, you still got to be individual characters moving around the board. The way it was for 9 and 10 is that you're all riding around in this stupid flying cart together on the same map. Yeah, it's really dumb.
I haven't played any game since 4, but I played the original. I played the original with my family endlessly because it was the one game my family and us could play. I played Mario Party 2, which I was an expert at, and now it's $60 on the internet every time you try to buy it. And then I have Mario Party 3, which is another one of my favorites because it actually has a plot.
Yep.
Has an actual plot.
Yep.
So you can play alone and not feel weird.
Mm-hmm. But that's Nintendo.
We're not done with Nintendo.
We're not done with Nintendo by any means.
We're done.
But I wanna touch on other stuff with it. Like I said, Nintendo World Championship came back with a vengeance, I'd like to say. The final round, which I didn't know if this was gonna be the final round or not, was the new Super Mario Maker game is coming out for Wii U. There was skepticism by a lot of people when this was originally announced. It was like, another Mario game? Like, what is this?
essentially, for people who don't know, it's a game where you can build the stages for Mario.
And of all the different Mario
stages
games,
are insane.
So the way that the final round worked, you had these two guys, John Numbers and this guy by the name of Cosmo. They had to face off individually on 3 stages, and whoever won those would get like a 15-second advantage over the other one. One guy won the first round, another guy won the second round, and then the third round determined a 15-second advantage. And all in all, that didn't really matter in the end. But oh my gosh, these stages were insane. Like on the third stage. On the third stage in particular, Darian and I both flipped our lids when this guy, not John Numbers, Cosmo, opens up a door.
No, it wasn't. It was not Cosmo. It was John.
It was Cosmo.
It wasn't Cosmo.
Cosmo
didn't go near.
John Numbers didn't even get in that door. He didn't go in door number 5 because it was door number 5. Cosmo opens up the door number 5 in the third stage. 3 Bowsers and stacked on top of each other.
For people who are going, oh, it's just Bowser. No, this is an actual Mario game Bowser, where Bowser's killing you.
Huge. Like these were
They're
giant.
standing on top of each other, moving at the exact same pace in a small freaking space the size of your hand, doing an L motion. Literally, take your hand right now, make an L with your hand, make an L with your left hand, and then put it on the other one and make a square. That is the space. That is the literal space.
If he hadn't gone right back through that door,
he would have been dead.
He would have been dead right off the bat. And incredible gameplay by both men.
Poor Cosmo, because he couldn't get past the first stage. And for people who
in the last
stage, he couldn't get past the first part for several minutes.
And John Numbers took all that time, and he was flying.
He was gone, but it's really sad because Cosmo pulled out so much epic and dramatic things every time he played.
It was so true. Like, it's very interesting because they both had 2 different styles of gameplay when they were approaching it. John Numbers by far was the speed. Well, he took his time, but he was also the speed guy.
Yeah.
And that was how he won the first round, and that's how he won the third round. Cosmo went off the beaten path, especially in the first 2, and wow, like
he's jumping all over the place, doing suicide jumps. And for people who don't think that they're suicide jumps, they are suicide jumps for non-mortal people like you and me.
Yeah.
He literally takes so many risks. It's not even funny. He's a Nintendo version of Evel Knievel. It's scary.
Right. So now, though, I'd like to talk about the E3 schedule, and then I'm gonna go over some of the big games because we're already going like overtime with this, but we're going like 10 minutes over, so it's not terrible. But I'm gonna go over the E3 schedule. So by the time most of you see this, it's gonna be like at the end of Monday night, probably. But that being said, Monday you've got YouTube Live at E3, GameSpot press conference coverage, IGN press conference coverage, Microsoft with Xbox, EA, Ubisoft, and Sony closing out the night on Monday. Tuesday, you got, starting off in the morning, the Nintendo Digital event, followed by Square Enix. So right away, those 2 for me gonna be very important. And then YouTube.
I'm gonna be having a heart attack.
YouTube booth live with Rooster Teeth and special guests. For those people that love Rooster Teeth, that's gonna be great. And then really following that for the rest of Tuesday and Wednesday and even Thursday, it's all just playing at the games at the booths. So at the very beginning, Monday and Tuesday are going to be the big days for all the huge news for the main 3 companies and everybody else. That being said, I have on my own Facebook, and I'm going to link it to this video, I have a list of the notable titles that will be present at the show. That will be present. That being said, there could still be games that are announced in that, but I'm gonna go over some of the big ones. For example, 2K games, WWE's 2016.
All right, I want to stop through for a second, and I want to rage for about 10 seconds.
2K games. WWE 2K15 was a travesty. It was insulting. When you compare it to every game that came forward, all of your custom suite working. What the heck did you give us last year? What the heck did you give us? You gave all the indie fans and wrestling fans all these great moves and not the content to back it up. Do a better job or I'm coming for you.
Okay. So
I'm done.
Also from 2K games, you've got Borderlands 3, Battleborn,
Look at that trailer.
Mafia 3, and XCOM 2.
I'm not so sure about those.
505 games, I'm just going to talk about Overkill's The Walking Dead. I feel like that's the most relevant one. Activision, coming out with Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Destiny expansion, Guitar Hero Live.
Destiny expansion.
Guitar Hero's back.
With a reckoning.
It's very interesting how they changed that up. And Skylanders 2015 for those people that love the Skylanders collectibles and all that.
Okay, for hardcore RPG gamers from the West, after you hear the news, try not to go into the corner and cry. Dark Souls 3.
Bandai Namco is bringing Dark Souls 3.
Follow the following instructions. Go in the corner, curl up into a ball, cry, and then repeat.
Now, is it Bethesda or Bethesda? Or
Bethesda.
Bethesda. So, and they have their thing Sunday night, actually, like while we're recording this. Battlecry, Fallout 4, which people are going nuts over, Doom, and Dishonored 2. Blizzard Entertainment with Overwatch. CI Games with Sniper, Ghost Warriors 3. Capcom, Devil May Cry 4 Special Edition. Mega Man Legacy Collection.
Woo!
Resident Evil 0 and Street Fighter 5.
Yeah.
Big name new installments or
Capcom ain't dead,
special
baby.
editions.
It ain't dead. It's
Not
still
dead.
alive.
Let's see here. Deep Silver, Homefront, The Revolution, and Dead Island 2.
I thought Homefront was dead.
Nope, apparently not. Devolver Digital, Crossing Souls, Enter the Gungeon. That sounds interesting.
I've seen trailers for that game. It looks interesting. It's, for people who don't know, it's a dungeon crawler with guns. It's also it's a party style game where you take friends and you go into a dungeon. If you're a fan of games that just like playing with people, going and shooting stuff up, you'll like it.
EA, obviously you've got your new sports installments.
Try not to cringe.
There's the new Star Wars stuff with Battlefront and the Old Republic. A new Plants vs. Zombies game. I always love Plants vs. Zombies. Battlefield 5, Need for Speed Reboot, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, and Mass Effect 4.
Western RPG fans, go into the corner, go outside your window, yell, tweet, do whatever you need to do, scream from the top of your lungs, Mass Effect 4?
Yeah, 4.
Mass Effect 4.
Bunch of other stuff. Konami, that's gonna be a little sad, but Metal Gear Solid 5.
The Phantom Pain.
And Pro Evolution Soccer 216.
I'm praying for...
Those are the only two games for sure that are going to be there.
We're going to talk about something Konami related, because I got news for something else. But for Konami, I want to kind of shut people down for people hoping for Metal Gear Rising again. We're not getting a Metal Gear Rising 2. There is no news. There is not going to be any news for that right away. So you can shut yourself down.
Microsoft, so Xbox, Fable Legends, Forza Motorsport 6, Halo 5, Gears of War 4, and Rise of the Tomb Raider. So big names for big games for Microsoft, for sure. Nintendo, Devil's Third, have no idea what that is. Mario Maker, which we
talked about this.
Go
watch the Nintendo Championships if you want an in-depth for hardcore gamers to see what this is.
Xenoblade, Yoshi's Woolly World, and Star Fox.
To clarify, the Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Xenoblade Chronicles X, but big thing, Star Fox. if there is a physical copy of that game at E3, people are going to go ham. Plain and simple. Sony, Drawn to Death, Bloodborne expansion, Beyond Two Souls. That's...
I don't know if that's a remake or if they're doing...
I think people are going to be excited for that, though, because people have been waiting.
Ellen Page, I miss you.
God of War 3 Remastered, Gran Turismo 7, Journey, Ratchet and Clank, a new game, Rhyme, Tearaway Unfolded, The Tomorrow Children, The Last Guardian. That's another one that people like the JRPG. People love that.
1 second. Mike Johnson, this is for you. Uncharted, A Thief's End, and Uncharted, the Nathan Drake collection. You are not allowed to lose your cred.
Yeah, you're getting an Uncharted 4 new game, and I'm guessing with the Nathan Drake collection, that's probably going to be the first 3 games in one collection, probably with extra stuff.
I personally have not played these games.
My brother loves them. And then they also have Until Dawn and What Remains of Edith Finch.
People, this is my personal favorite part. Square Enix. You got to talk mostly. I want to do these.
Fine.
Square Enix. Final Fantasy 15. Finally! Some news this week, though. The girl who was prominently a part of the storyline plot leaks, Stella, will no longer be in Final Fantasy 15. It was just recently released that they cut her out of the game completely. So Stella was replaced with somebody else, but she is no longer a part of this game and is no longer the prominent part of this game. Kingdom Hearts 3, baby! Kingdom Hearts 3! And for once, I actually have the system it's out on right away. So I am ready for Kingdom Hearts 3. I am praying to God that I really wish me and Jordan had done a speculation for this thing before this had happened, but we're going to know more come after this is on.
And don't forget, it's going to be on Xbox One, too. And that's a first.
That's a first.
Kingdom Hearts has not been on an Xbox console.
It has been PlayStation exclusive since...
Or Nintendo.
They
Back and forth with Nintendo.
Yeah. Notice how it's not on the Wii U, though.
Correct.
Deus Ex, Mankind Divided. Just Cause 3. Once again, Mike Johnson, you're allowed to lose crud. Hitman. And then, I'm going to save the favorite for last. Life is Strange, no clue what that is. And then my personal favorite, Star Ocean Integrity and Faithlessness for the PS4 and the Xbox One.
Yeah. Telltale Games coming out with a Minecraft story mode. Ubisoft has Assassin's Creed Syndicate, Tom Clancy's Division, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege,
All the Tom Clancy.
Watch Dogs 2, and a new Prince of Persia game.
For people who like Prince of Persia and aren't disillusioned from the movie.
Yep. And then just one that I kind of want to talk about, Versus Evil. Afro Samurai 2, Revenge of Kuma, Volume 1. That's going to be interesting, I think. I've never played an Afro Samurai game, but I feel like the people that do love Afro Samurai are probably going to fall in love with it. That there's going to be a new game. So yeah. And then I guess also I'll talk about Warner Brothers, Batman Arkham Knight, Mad Max, and Lego Jurassic World. After seeing Jurassic World, I think the Lego game is going to be pretty awesome. I've seen trailers or commercials for it so far of the gameplay, and the Lego games in general are pretty fun, not gonna lie. But what do you think, Darian? What do you think of the list this year?
This is a big emotional list for me when you got like a whole bunch of things, especially Kingdom Hearts 3, which I'm praying to God they don't say, oh, by the way, you're not getting this game until 2017. For the love of God, give me this game! I'm ready to be done with this part of the saga for Kingdom Hearts. And for people who have not been glued to the ground for Kingdom Hearts information, this will not be the end of the franchise, but this will be Sora's story ending after Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm ready for the story to be done. I'm ready to know if Aqua stays alive throughout this thing, because I love Aqua, whom I did not know was Arrow's Willa Holland, and I'm really sad that she didn't make that a thing known. But it's a big thing. Some non-E3 games, though. well, we forgot. We said we were going to mention this. Fallout 4, for people who are massive fans of Fallout, they've been going nuts all week since they heard the information.
Yes, they have.
This game that Nintendo has brought out called Blast Ball. It's a shocker shooter game where it's teams of 3 trying to shoot a ball into the goal with power-ups and gun shooting. It sounds interesting. I might try it.
I think it might be overshadowed, though, by the sheer popularity of Splatoon right now.
It's going nuts. It's not even funny.
I think it actually is kind of funny, because, I mean, have you seen all the posts? So, like,
I've seen all the posts of people.
Like,
apparently,
hey, Chie, say something that starts with F. Squid? Excellent.
For people who are underage and don't really like to know, apparently there was this guy, I'm sorry, you need an adult, you need an adult, you need an adult, this is your alert, you need an adult. Apparently a guy who really did nothing but make pictures with ink of his dick won a game without doing anything besides just drawing pictures of a dick. I thought that was hilarious just hearing about it. Another thing, this is a big thing this week in Tales of news for the Tales of series. Tales of Zestria is finally going to come to the Western United States, coming out this fall. I believe it's October 20th. Even though the Tales of Zestria has had a big mixed fan response since the game came out, when there was all this hype about it, and now it apparently just has not been living up to the hype, has been replaced with Tales of Berseria, where there is this lone female protagonist, and that's all we know for the time period being. And then, I think this is the last thing on my list for video games, Koji Igarashi, the creator, one of the producers of Castlevania, or creators of Castlevania, I'm not really sure. When he left Konami, he made a game and started a Kickstarter campaign for this game called Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. A Kickstarter campaign which beat all of its stretch goals and reaches all of it. And it closed with $5.5 million included in this thing. It literally went over the loop for this thing. I am excited for this game. It looks amazing. People got some backer specialty stuff. It looks amazing. Take a look for it. If you backed it, good for you. I didn't get to back it because every time I got paid, I forgot. I really wish I was one of those people. But it looks amazing. It's going to have 4-player local co-op during this game, which will be fun. So even if you have trouble doing it by yourself, you'll be able to take a couple friends and do it yourself. This is honestly one of the games that is not E3 that I'm looking most forward to. And I believe that is it.
Yeah.
Oh, yep. I did say to Jordan that there was stuff that Darian has stuffs. Alright, as we've mentioned a couple times, I am going to be at Anime Midwest this year on July 3rd weekend. Starting that Friday, I'm going to be there all 3 days. I will be at a hotel only on Saturday. So Friday, if you miss me after a certain time, I will not be around because I have absolutely no clue where I'm staying.
Neat.
What?
I said neat.
Hey, you almost went to ASA without having any plan what you were going to do.
True.
But I'm going to be doing 2 panels for the first time this year. I'm going to be doing a group panel with my friend Alan Sharpley, who's going to be hanging out with me all weekend. You remember him from the
episode 2.
From episode 2 of the Dork List. We're going to be hanging out. We're both going to be on that Digimon panel for fans of Digimon. Come hang out with us. It's going to be an in-depth panel. It's not going to be an overview panel like you're used to seeing at this thing. Come and see us. I'm also going to be doing my panel for people who are in the local area at the Alice Baker Library, where I'm going to be doing Marvel Comics 101. If you want to see me and you don't want to drive all the way down to Chicago to see me and do my panel and learn about Marvel Comics, I'm going to be there next weekend at Alice Baker Library around 3 o'clock. Don't miss it. It's going to be a lot of fun. There will be costumes, cosplay, and me, which is going to get a lot of people rocking.
Shameless plug.
It's shameless self-promotion. There's a difference. And then, as I said, Darren has stuff. I'm going to be doing also, because I didn't mention it prominently, I'm going to be doing Marvel Comics 101 as well at Anime Midwest. So come see me. Come talk to me about comic books. I'm going to have all my my shameless plugs. I'm going to be plugging Jordan so he can't complain.
Woo! Yay me!
And like I said, I have stuffs. I've been kind of hitting a creative loop or slump lately. So lately, I've decided to start. I'm going to start a video blog. I'm going to be talking. It's still going to be me talking about nerdy stuff, except it will be me. And I know that all of you are going to leave immediately because it's just going to be me and no Jordan.
I know, right? Like, the most lovable guy is no longer there. Like, oh.
But I'm going to start doing some video blog stuff because I can't write things prominently to get my thoughts out of things. So pretty much what I did with Digimon, where I'm going to talk about stuff in depth. I'm going to try and keep it to 30 minutes to 45 minutes. Keep a lookout for my YouTube channel. I'll have Jordan plug it once I've actually done something of significance, so it doesn't sound like I'm going out of nowhere. But all in all, I think that's us for this week.
Yeah. We're gonna try to get in another episode before, obviously, I go down to Florida, and before Darian has Midwest. I can almost guarantee, I think, at this point, that the next episode is pretty much gonna be entirely like E3.
Unless there's like some major news.
Unless something like falls out of the sky, or all of a sudden like Digimon is suddenly gonna be in July instead of November.
Yeah, it's pretty much predominantly gonna be E3 news. We might have a special guest if he gets off his bum and shows up.
Are we talking about Jeremy?
We're talking about Jeremy.
Okay.
We're going to try and have our friend Jeremy Stuckey McLeod. He's a great guy. You'll love hearing from him. If you're listening to this podcast and you actually know him, yell at him to get on this podcast so we can have him on the show.
We might get like one more person too, just like we have like a round table kind of thing. Like
Yeah.
I feel like that'd be neat.
Yeah.
The microphone can handle that, right?
Hopefully the microphone can handle it.
So it's like having it in like the middle and everybody just like gather around and just so we have some more viewpoints and more excitement over it. Because I mean, E3 is exciting for
big thing.
everybody.
So yeah, we probably might be able to do one hopefully before the month is over, and we both have to go on to do our separate things.
Yep. So check back with us within 2 weeks. I mean, we've kind of got this formula down now of like doing it every other Sunday.
Yeah.
Gonna shoot for that. Hopefully
If
that
we
works.
don't, we might do it a little bit earlier so we can
Right.
do it.
But otherwise, I think we've got this kind of rhythm down now. It's just a matter of sticking to it. Thank you to everyone that stuck with us so far. Listening,
We're glad to have you.
especially tonight. Since with this episode, since we've gone over 18 minutes over the hour point of this. I mean, we just had a lot to talk about.
We did.
But I mean, I like to think we had a lot of interesting stuff to talk about.
I hope we're making you happy, and we want to talk about everything we possibly can.
We want to like have a broad reach of all the different stuff they're talking about. So if you ever have any suggestions for us, I mean, like shoot us a message.
Hit them up on Axel Blaze Productions.
Talk to us on YouTube. We had our like first YouTube comment actually like yesterday. That's
You
pretty
did?
cool. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I didn't tell you that. Like,
Gee, thanks for telling me. They're my fans too.
I was playing Clash of Clans actually. And
I see how it is.
And I was like, yeah, I have a podcast. And it's like, oh, okay, I'll check this out. And I was like, oh, this is what you're talking about. That's cool. You're gonna talk about Nintendo Direct. And I'm like, yeah, we are. So
we got 6 subscribers.
We are up to 6 subscribers.
Hopefully after Midwest, I'll be able to bring more people in.
Yeah, well, we'll try to make more content. Now that I have like, this is the first episode that you guys are hearing on my new Harlan Hogan professional microphone. Hopefully it sounds a little better than what I've been using with the Blue Yeti microphone.
Hopefully I sound okay, because that was a big problem we were trying to set up.
We're still finagling with details. So thank you for sticking around while we're going through the learning curve.
Yeah.
We love you guys. Thank you for showing support, watching our videos.
When we do this for you guys, so stick around.
We do it to entertain, and that's our number one goal, is entertaining you all, and keeping you up to date with our dorky list of all the things that are
no pun intended, but pun intended.
it's all cookie.
It's all cookie.
I had to plug that in at least once.
We haven't
to
said
make
cookie
dairy.
this entire episode.
We haven't.
I feel really bad because we haven't.
It's okay.
We're gonna make this into a thing.
It was our title kind of last time, so
we're gonna make this cookie. Our next episode is gonna be cookie. We're gonna try and have guests. We're gonna be plugging. I'll be plugging social media everywhere, hopefully, so you can let us know what you guys would like to hear.
Yep. Other than that, we've already kept you guys 20 minutes over. So as always, I'm Jordan.
I'm Darian.
And thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Dork List. Bye, everybody.
Peace out, y'all.